Welcome back, everybody. If you can't tell, I am just like, oh man, I am so excited to have these two guys. Doc, I'm always excited to talk to you, buddy. But follow up on Jordy's last point before we took the break.
Well, my point is going to be pretty quick. One, John Boehner and the Republican leadership have provided cover for Obama and his terrible economic and foreign policies the entire time that they've had control of the House. They crank up 63 times a repeal of Obamacare. Well, come on. Put together a package that you can at least get your majority Republican Senate behind, and then stick it, just like Jordan said, stick it on the desk. Like you said one time, bury them in paperwork. Number two, and this is a lesson Reagan learned, you can't believe what the Democrats will tell you. Democrats don't come from a position of, well, let's try to get along and try to work things out and try to run this country. They go, we have an agenda. This is it. That's why I got elected, and I'm willing to die on the cross for it. Look at how many people took the plunge, took a knife to the chest over Obamacare just to advance it. And that's what they say all the time. I might have lost my seat, but I stood for my principles.
That sounds like a Republican line to me, buddy. So when you start talking about the
Republicans, stand for your principles. And that's what I think is irritating conservatives like me and Jordan. Stand for your principles. If you don't have any, tell us that, okay? If you're not pro-life, tell us that. And then we'll be more accepting. We might not vote for you. We probably won't give you money. But the bottom line is go out there and vote your principles. And that's what's happening with the Republican Party.
And what I'm telling both you guys is that the continuation of the ideological purity test the Republican Party has been running for the last 20 years is going to result in not winning a national election for the next national presidential election for at least the next 50, maybe 150 years. Anyway, but we'll move on from that because you said a couple of things that I found super interesting, Pat, in that Democrats pushing an agenda. I don't remember the Democrats coming out with something called the Contract for America. I don't remember the Democrats coming out with anything.
That was 1994. This is a different Republican Party than the one that Newt Gingrich brought.
So Republicans
power.
that had ideas.
We haven't had Republicans with ideas since the Contract for America.
Well, hey, as long as we're willing to posit that. Now, what would this is really turning into my favorite topic, which is why Republicans are disheveled messes of their former selves and how it is that we could maybe fix it. But I really want to talk. We got 25 minutes left. I really wanted to talk about the Benghazi hearing, or how I like to call it, trying to find the there and no there hearing. Because there were some interesting things. I watched 6.5 hours of the 11-hour hearing. I thought it was really boring, but I'm also a lawyer, and so I was kind of used to listening to stuff like this while I was doing other things. I think that politically, it only helped to boost Hillary Clinton. It did nothing to help anybody. Other than that, it was a carnival show. Both sides. The Democrats were basically writing campaign speeches for her, and the Republicans didn't know really what to ask her. And I think that there are some legitimate concerns that could be talked about with respect to Benghazi policy that were lost in this morass of Sid Blumenthal emails and Hillary bashing. And so I want to, first of all, I'm going to put this to both of you. Doc, did you watch any of it, or did you read any of the reporting afterwards?
Yeah, I read a lot of the reporting, but for me, the Benghazi hearings went pretty much like I expected. A lot of pontificating, not a lot of substance, and essentially what the Republican leadership did yet again, even though it was through Trey Gowdy, which apparently he's the new golden boy, what they essentially did is provide an avenue for Hillary Clinton to dodge a lot of the tough questions. They gave her some cover as to why she isn't forthcoming with some of the answers. I mean, one of the answers she gave is she never used the government emails, and she never used a personal server to do any kind of top secret emails. Well, if you didn't use the government server,
But that's
and
an
you
answer,
didn't
though.
use
So
your
how's
own
she dodging
server,
that? Well,
then
anyway,
what server
before we get
did
into
you
that, the
use to do
specifics of
this?
it. Hold on, Doc. Before we get into the
Right.
specifics of it, Jordan, I wanted you to kind of, if you read any of the reporting, like your initial reaction to it.
It went pretty much as planned. I watched a couple hours of the coverage. It was just exactly what I expected it to be. Her flipping her answers were never direct. Not like we're ever going to get a yes or no answer in a political setting like that, but her answers were never direct. She changed the topic. She did not answer the questions that were asked her.
What questions were asked her, though?
She appeared to me to be pumped full of Xanax or something along this line. She looked high. And I've gone back and looked at that. I've watched some more videos of it. She looked to me like she was pumped so full of anti-anxiety medications just so she could get through this thing. It was carnival. It was a sideshow. It was a waste of time. We're never going to pin anything on this lady. We never have. But in a greater sense, I think it was, again, another demonstration of the fact that she lies.
She lies. What did she lie about?
She is a dishonest person who lies about things. I wanted to simplify my emails. Now, this isn't the Benghazi thing, but
right.
I wanted to simplify the email process. This is the smartest woman in the world, so I can only carry one device. Then you have other statements from her where she talks about her multiple phones, iPads, all the stuff that she does. She tells half-truths. She lies by omission, and then she just flat out lies. The Clintons are professional liars, I believe, to a point where they're deeply pathological liars, and we cannot trust the things that they say. And I'm not saying that the Republicans can be trusted either. I'm not saying that Barack Obama can be trusted. But it seems as if they have a specific pattern, not seems as if, they have a specific pattern of being investigated by the vast right-wing conspiracy, like the FBI right now, and they lie. And they evade consequences for their actions or lack of actions.
Do you think, I'm going to put this to both of you guys because I know that you both think the same way about this, but it has been my experience in my life, and I'm sure it's been your experience in your guys' life, that, when something happens that's wrong, typically, and this is a hedge, and if you were...
You mean like lying in front of a grand jury?
If either one of you guys were clients of mine and came to me with something that was sort of that exposed you to risk, my advice to both of you would be to get out in front of it because it's going to come to light eventually. If you're saying that they're pathological liars, they've been pathological liars for 30 years. Or 40 years going back to Arkansas. And all of the conspiracy theories about the Clinton have proven to be fruitless. They've proven they're not in jail for some of this stuff. They didn't pin Vince Foster on them. They didn't pin Whitewater on them.
How long did it take to get Whitey Bulger? Oh, but he was on the run. That's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
That is a little bit, I will admit, that's wrong.
Well, you see what I'm saying, though? I mean, these are the two most famous people in the world who have been investigated by folks, and you cannot argue, and neither one of you can argue with me that Bill Clinton, when he was elected in 92, was elected under the auspices of the fact that he was an illegitimate president because he didn't win the majority of the popular vote. He won a plurality. And so he has been treated as illegitimate ever since then, besides the fact that he spanked two Republican runs for president and Poppy Bush in the face.
Hold on. Whoever said he was an illegitimate president?
And that's been the attitude.
I mean, we said he was a liar,
Bill Clinton,
and he lied under oath. That's what we say.
My thing is he's a man of low character.
Fair enough. I mean, we can talk about whatever low character means and what that means as far as running a country, but there is no, as far as the testimony of Hillary Clinton at the Benghazi hearings. First of all, I don't understand. Every time Hillary opens her mouth, the Republican says she's lying about something. So I'm going to, with all due respect, fellas, I'm going to ignore that because it's not productive.
This was as a result of a movie on the internet. Then an hour later, she sends an email to her daughter.
So what is scandalous about not knowing what happened immediately?
She knew exactly what happened.
Does that matter? Does that matter?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. Okay, Pat. No, respond to this, Pat.
It matters if she knew what was going on because they were sitting in a room watching, just like they did for Osama bin Laden. Okay, They were sitting in a room watching this whole thing going down. They knew exactly what caused it. They knew exactly what was going on. They stayed with the stupid thing of, they're writing over film, when later on, all the records indicated, that wasn't true.
And then they came out and said that it was a terrorist act. What does it matter if initially?
At what point did they say it was a terrorist act?
Obama, The thing that it got Mitt Romney stung in the town hall debate. Obama came out and said it was a terrorist act.
Have you gone back and watched the video from the Rose Garden the day that Obama said
you mean
that?
when he said it's an act of terrorism?
He said it's an act of terrorism.
An act of terrorism.
As a result.
An act of terrorism.
An act of terrorism as a result of this hideous film.
Does it matter? What's
Does
the
it matter
scandal?
why people want to kill us? No.
What's
does
the
it matter?
scandal?
Does it matter when our leaders, for political gain, misdirect and misguide the voters?
So is that the principle you're standing on?
It's the principle in an ideal universe we all would stand on.
Mm-hmm.
I think what the Donald Trump deal is, why he's such a big deal right now is, like him or hate him, he doesn't lie a whole bunch in front of people. Bernie Sanders, who's someone I don't support, I think he's a man of integrity. I think that he's a guy that says exactly what he thinks and believes. If we want to go back, one of my favorite Democrat wackos of all time is Dennis Kucinich. There's a guy that I absolutely loved, had integrity. James Traficant, even though he was under federal indictment, he told you what he was thinking. There are certain people in our country, not certain people, there are people like me in this country who just don't want to be lied to, or don't want to be lied to so often that even when they actually tell the truth, I believe that I'm being lied to. Again, it's the story of the little boy who cried wolf over and over with the Clintons, over and over. We have proven the guy was impeached. The guy was disbarred. His wife has been caught up in so many controversies. It's been proven time and time again that they are of low moral standing. They do not have character. I do not want people like that as president of the United States, period, whatever party it is. And that's why there are a few Republicans out there that I will not support. I may vote against Hillary, but I will not vote for them in the general election.
Pat, what do you have to think about that before we take a break?
But yeah, we're a little bit behind.
No, well, we went over the last one, so it's okay.
Yeah, all right. Oh, you want me to go ahead and
I do.
Go? All right. Well, the bottom line is, let's just be honest. Politicians lie. My friend Pat Van Zandt always had this saying, if you're going to lie down with dogs, you got to expect fleas, right? That's what it is in politics. And especially the way we have politics set up, you have to go out, you have to convince the base that you're just as, conservative or as liberal as they are, and then you have to move to the middle. I mean, that's a common thing. So how you do that, you have to bend the truth. You kind of have to slide around some things. Everybody gets that. But when you come straight out and make contradictory statements under oath multiple times, stay with the same story, that is wrong until the evidence is so overwhelming
Under oath.
that you have to then tell the truth. It creates a problem. It creates an image. The other thing is, and you and I have talked about this a lot, the media does not treat Hillary all that well. And in fact, I'm really kind of surprised how well they have treated her with this Benghazi thing, because, we've talked a lot about how the media really get after her. And so I think that part of this with the Benghazi thing, I saw a great meme, said, it was supposed to be about Sarah Palin. It says, I don't know about you, but I would like to hear what this Mr. Benghazi has to say before I make any judgments, right? So the bottom line is this is just a cover for politicians trying to cover for each other, especially now, because all these people that are Republicans that are in Congress now are going to have to they're going to have to work with her if she becomes elected president. And that's part of the system. I wouldn't vote for Hillary. I have a great deal of respect for her tenacity. Have a great deal of respect for her intelligence. But I have to agree with Jordan and the majority of Americans that she's not an honest woman. Now, why is that? I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point. All I know is I can't really trust what she says.
Well,
and that's an unfortunate thing.
And what I would say to kind of finish that up is that what I think about this Benghazi thing, we're probably going to move on to Ukraine since we ran a little bit long, but that you all thought that this is the big one, that this was the scandal that was going to sink the Obama presidency. You thought this was going to be the scandal that was going to destroy the 2012 election. You guys were so deluded going into 2012 that Mitt Romney was going to pick him off, even though he ended up winning by 5.5 million votes in the popular election. You thought that this was the thing that was going to kill him in 2012, and you doubled down on it. You tripled down on it to the extent that you've run 8 hearings all of which have found that there was no systematic wrongdoing or nefarious conduct by anybody in the administration. Mistakes were made, and here's the sad thing. What this committee could have been asking honest questions about why the heck we were in Benghazi in the first place. Now, this is something the three of us and I have agreed on 100%, or I expect we'd agree on. This intervention in Benghazi. Well, first of all, the Obama administration fouled up the Arab Spring like right from the get-go. But this intervention in Benghazi is another one of these just complete morass. We should have learned this from Afghanistan. We should have learned this from Iraq. We should have learned this from our intervention in Somalia and the Balkans.
Hang on there a second, Blake. Just hang on a second.
No, we have to go to break.
When you have the American media
because you're going to talk about Ukraine for the last 10 minutes.
burying everything, then yeah, it can't get traction. I agree with that.
What?
The American media has ignored this. The 4 dead people in Benghazi, all the other political mistakes that Obama makes.
We got to go to a break, but I would just say, 6,000 dead in Iraq, 6,000 American troops dead in Iraq. Hey, check us out, Facebook, Twitter, everything else. Facebook, Twitter, everything else. Pat, you're going to talk forever in the next segment. I promise you, but we'll be right back.
Let's
Thanks
add
a
up
lot.
the body count.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.